You are sitting in a room with no windows. The chair is plastic. The table is metal. The air smells like floor cleaner and recycled coffee. And the fluorescent tube above your head hums at a frequency you will never fully stop hearing again. There is a form in front of you. You have already signed it. You do not entirely remember doing so, but your signature is there, twice, on the third page. The man across the table does not introduce himself. He simply slides a second form toward you. This one concerns your digital footprint, your social media, your phone number, your name as it appears on postal records. All of it, he explains, will be archived, not deleted, archived. There is a difference, he says, though he does not specify what that difference is. You were recruited 9 months ago, not for ideology, not for patriotism, for two things only: fluency in 3 languages and the absence of close family ties. Your mother passed 4 years prior. You have a brother in Pune whom you speak to twice a year. You are not married. You have no children. You have, they told you, almost no friction points. This was presented as a compliment. Training begins the following Monday. You are told to arrive at 6 a.m. You are told to bring nothing that identifies you. The facility is located 47 kilometers outside the city. It sits between a concrete processing plant and a stretch of flat agricultural nothing. You will spend 14 weeks there. The days begin at 5:30 a.m. with cold water. Not cold in the way of a brisk shower, but cold as a deliberate condition, as a thing they are doing to you. And they end at 10 p.m. with a debrief session where you are asked to recall, in precise sequence, every conversation you had that day. They teach you how to lie without shifting your eyes. They teach you how to construct a grief response when you have no grief. They teach you how to answer a question you were not asked, so thoroughly and with such apparent sincerity.
The person asking forgets the original question entirely. You practice this in pairs. You practice it until it does not feel like practice. That is the point at which the instructor nods and moves on. By week 6, you stop thinking of your old name first when you wake up. The ascent. Your first assignment is peripheral. You attend 3 community gatherings over the course of 11 weeks. You report on the tenor of conversations, the names mentioned, the body language of 2 specific individuals. Nothing you observe is dramatic. It is mostly just men drinking tea and complaining about electricity cuts. You file your reports. You receive a brief message, satisfactory. No name signs the message. There is no sender field. You are promoted, if that is the word, to a second tier. Your cover identity is now more elaborate. You have a documented employment history at a logistics company that does not exist in any meaningful operational sense but does exist on paper, in government filings, and in the memory of 2 men who will confirm your tenure there if anyone calls. You have an apartment in a neighborhood that suits your legend. The rent is paid by a third party you will never meet. The apartment smells faintly of someone else's cooking. You leave it as it is. Month 7. You are inside. Not symbolically. Physically inside a network that has been under surveillance for 3 years. You attend a dinner. You eat lamb. You discuss logistics. You smile at the appropriate moments. Your handler contacts you through a protocol that involves 3 steps, each separated by a minimum of 2 hours. You memorize it. You do not write it down. You will never write anything down. Writing things down is for people who expect to be believed by someone outside the room. You have no such expectation. The network does not trust quickly. That is by design. Trust is built through small consistencies, not large gestures. You show up when you say you will show up. You deliver what you promise to deliver. Over 18 months, you carry messages, you facilitate one financial transfer of approximately $23,000, and you identify for individuals who are later, quietly, placed under extended surveillance by agencies whose names you are not told. You do not know what happens to them afterward. You do not ask. Asking would not suit your legend, and your legend is all you have. You receive what your handler calls a commendation. It comes as a slight change in protocol. Your extraction number now connects to a more senior line. You are told this is significant. You take his word for it. The rules that govern your daily life are not written anywhere. They exist as a kind of pressure, distributed, ambient, and precisely calibrated. You learn them by sensing the moments when you have almost broken them. A glance held 2 seconds too long. A question answered with slightly too much warmth. A pause before speaking that lasted 0.3 seconds more than your cover identity would allow. You learn to divide your mind the way a building is divided into floors. What you actually know lives on one floor. What your cover identity knows lives on another. You can move between them, but you learn to do so without using the stairs cleanly, without transition, without any visible effort of translation. You sleep an average of 5 hours and 40 minutes per night. You know this because you have counted the hours for 14 consecutive months. Sleep becomes a logistics problem, not a biological need. Communication with your agency is encrypted and routed through 2 intermediary servers. Your check-ins happen every 72 hours unless an event disrupts the schedule. When the schedule is disrupted, you wait. Waiting is perhaps the primary technical skill this work requires. You wait in apartments. You wait in the back seats of vehicles. You wait in conversations that have stopped meaning anything, nodding at the appropriate intervals. He network runs on a financial structure that uses informal transfer systems, hawala networks, business fronts, small cash movements totaling no more than $8,000 per transaction to avoid triggering reporting thresholds. You understand this now not as criminal architecture but as administrative procedure. That shift in perception happens so gradually you do not notice it happening. There are men in this network who have families. Children who play cricket in small concrete courtyards. Wives who bring food to meetings without being asked to leave. You know their names. You know their schedules. You transmit this information in 72-hour cycles, in a format your agency has approved, and then you return to those same courtyards and eat the food and say the right things. This is the work. This is all of it, the erosion. Your brother calls. He calls on Sundays, when he can. You answer in the voice that is not quite yours, not the cover identity's voice, but not exactly your old voice either. Something that has formed in the space between them. He asks how work is going. You say fine. You ask about his children. He talks for 11 minutes about a school play, a fever that passed, a promotion that did not materialize. You listen. You feel something that resembles warmth, from a distance. You cannot tell him anything. This is not a policy you resent. It is simply a condition of the life, the way temperature is a condition of a room. The room you live in now is approximately 4 degrees colder than the room you used to live in. You have stopped noticing you have not had a friendship, an actual one, based on something real, in 2 years and 4 months. You have had relationships. Every relationship is functional. Every conversation serves the architecture. A woman in the network begins to trust you. She is not a target. She is peripheral, the sister of a courier, and she talks to you sometimes because you are a good listener and you speak her first language without a traceable accent. She tells you about a childhood in a city that no longer exists in the form she remembers. She shows you a photograph on her phone. You look at it carefully. You file a report noting her name, her relationship to the courier, the content of her photograph, the general emotional state she displayed during the conversation. You do not think about this for very long. Thinking about it for very long would not suit the floor you are currently on. You develop a small, persistent tremor in your left hand. It appears when you are still. You have not reported it to anyone. Reporting it would initiate a medical review, and a medical review would create documentation, and documentation creates a trail. You sit on the tremor. You keep your hand in your pocket during moments of stillness. You have stopped having very many moments of stillness. The shattering a drone strike 6 weeks ago killed one of the network's mid-level leaders. A man named Tariq. You had eaten with him. You had watched him laugh too loudly at his own joke about a market price dispute. You did not report the laugh. It did not seem relevant. Now he is dead, and the network has accelerated its timeline by what you estimate is 8 to 10 weeks, and everything that was methodical has become urgent, and urgency is the condition under which people get killed. His safe houses move every night now. You carry everything you need in one bag. 31 degrees outside. You sleep in 3 different locations over 5 days. Your emergency extraction number, the one you have memorized for 2 years, the one that connects to the senior line, the one they told you was significant, rings for 11 seconds and then produces a tone that means the line is no longer in service. You try it at 2 a.m. You try it at 6 a.m. You try it once from a payphone, which costs you 40 rupees and confirms what you already know. No one is coming. Or, someone is coming, but not yet, and not for you specifically. The operation briefing happens in a room with cement walls and a single bulb. 7 men. You are the 8th. The target is a building in the old quarter. A coordinating meeting, you are told. Senior figures. High value. The briefing is efficient. It takes 11 minutes. And then, at the end of those 11 minutes, someone says, with the same procedural tone used to describe everything else, that the meeting will be attended by approximately 30 to 40 civilians. A wedding gathering. The floor of the building below the target floor. 01 pauses after this information is delivered. It is presented as context, not as a moral consideration. It is presented the way a room temperature is presented, as a condition, not a choice. Then they hand you the detonator. It is placed in front of you on the table. Small. Matte black. The room does not shift. The bulb continues its small electric hum. The 7 men do not look at you all at once, which is worse than if they did. They look at the middle distance, at their hands, at the wall. The silence lasts approximately 4 seconds. In those 4 seconds you understand that this is not an operational decision. It is a verification. They want to know what you are, finally, at the bottom of all the floors, beneath the cover identity and the legend and the 72-hour cycles and the encrypted routes. You look at the detonator. You think about the wedding below. You think about 30 civilians who do not know they are context. You think about your extraction number and its 11-second ring. You think about the woman with the photograph. You think about your brother's 11-minute school play story, and the fact that you will almost certainly never be able to tell him where you were when you heard it. The room waits, you do not pick it up, and the room changes temperature in a way that has nothing to do with the air.he cycle. What happens next happens quickly. This is always how exits work: fast, imprecise, and managed by people who were not in the room when the decision was made. You are moved. A contact you have never seen before appears within 6 hours. There is a vehicle. There is a border. There is a building that smells like floor cleaner and recycled coffee, and you sit in a plastic chair across from a man who does not introduce himself, and there is a form. The debrief takes 9 days. You answer every question in full. You give them everything, every name, every location, every financial movement, every conversation with the woman and her photograph. You give them the tremor in your left hand. You give them the 11-second dial tone. Someone writes all of it down. You sign 3 more forms. Nobody thanks you for the 30 civilians. Nobody mentions them. They exist, in the official record, as a subordinate clause in a paragraph about operational risk assessment. You are told your service record is sealed. This is presented as protection. It may be. You return to a city. Not your city, a city, assigned, appropriate for someone of your legend's residual profile. The apartment has furniture that was chosen by someone else. The window faces a wall. You sleep for 11 hours the first night, and when you wake up, for approximately 3 seconds, you do not know which floor you are on. Our brother calls on Sunday. You answer in a voice that is slightly closer to the one you used to have. He talks for 9 minutes. You listen, and it is different this time. The warmth is present, not distant, though it arrives with a quality of lateness, like a season changing after it should have. Somewhere, in a room with cement walls and a single bulb, there is someone new. They were recruited for their language skills. They have no close family connections. They have been told this is a compliment. They are on week 6 of training. They have stopped thinking of their old name first. When they wake up, the form has already been signed. The machine does not note the signature's hesitation. The machine does not note any of the things that happen just before the pen meets the paper. It records only the output. The output is clean. The archive is updated. The hum of the fluorescent tube continues at its frequency. The system is running exactly as designed. You were inside it once. Now you are evidence of nothing in particular. End.